So guys, this is Stephanie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for more content. I appreciate it. I love your comments. And again, like I say, as I always do, it's a labor of love. I don't make any money on this. It's just for fun. And I just love reaching out and talking to people about movies, culture, whatever, Star Wars. So anyway, news reached out today that, came out today that Kathleen Kennedy, the most hated woman in Star Wars, is getting a Lifetime Achievement Oscar with her husband, and everyone's losing their shit. Well, let me explain something. First off, listen very closely. This is something she didn't earn. They're giving it to her as a parting gift. This is literally her participation trophy. Or as Dan Watanabe said, virtue signaling. And it's basically going to be the last thing that we see of her, at least as far as Star Wars is concerned. And, you know, next January we're all going to be going, well, she sits there and acts like she's all that in a bag of chips, and we all know the real reason. And we all know the real story, right? Okay, so she gets a participation trophy for no reason. My problem is this. What has the woman really done? All right? Her husband's also getting one. But he actually probably deserves it. What has the woman really done that Sherry Lansing didn't do 5 times over? That my friend Bettina hasn't done. She's also a movie producer. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything. Kathleen Kennedy is basically riding the coattails of John Milius, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and her husband Frank Marshall for absolutely doing nothing. I mean, truly doing nothing. Okay? So this is my point. All right? This is my point. I am angry, not for the reason that she's getting a participation trophy. I could give a shit about who gets an Oscar and who doesn't. It's not my business. It's not my thing anymore. The Oscars are meaningless. And this is the next thing I'm going to say is the reason why. Because actors, directors who have been in the business a long time, who put up a body of work, who are really, really good at their jobs, have been ignored. Who put up big box office numbers, have been stomped on. One in particular, and I think if he ever was offered an Oscar as a Lifetime Achievement Award, he'd probably tell him to go to hell. What I can think of is Harrison Ford. He's been nominated for 1 Oscar for a wonderful movie called Witness, and if you haven't seen it, see it. It's about this Philadelphia police captain, a detective, who finds himself having to protect an Amish boy and his mother, and basically family, after the Amish boy witnesses a detective being murdered by another detective. It's really, really a good movie, and I suggest put it on your list to see. And Harrison is really great in that movie. Steven Spielberg likes to say that's when he became a movie star. I disagree. I think the moment he put on Han Solo's gun rig and the vest and the boots, that's when he got to be a movie star. Because that's the character that propelled him to the front. But anyway, he's never been nominated for another movie. Only for Witness and the character John Book in that movie. This is wrong. This is so wrong. A few years later, he made another movie based on the book by Paul Theroux called Mosquito Coast, with the same director, Peter Weir. And it is literally the weirdest, kookiest, most far-out thing I've ever seen. And when you watch it, you're going to wonder where Harrison Ford is and what have they done with him. I am not kidding. The character that he plays, Ali Fox, is such a departure from the hero in Over His Head, from Indiana Jones, from John Book, from Richard Kimball, and he should have been nominated for Best Actor for that. I don't give a shit who says what. Tommy Lee Jones gets an actor, gets a Best Supporting Actor's nod for overacting. That's bullshit. Okay, he didn't get nominated. I mean, this is such. I mean, Ali Fox is a departure from Han Solo by like Indiana Jones. I mean, it's so far out you can't even imagine. There's nothing actually about the guy we know when we watch Air Force One, when we see A Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, The Fugitive, Frantic, and he should have been nominated because he was really good in that. Witness, Star Wars, any of them, the Indiana Jones saga, any of the stuff that's recently, there's nothing that connects him and that character that he played to those other characters. That's how good he was. That's how amazing he was. And because of that, because it was such a departure, he didn't get nominated for an Academy Award. The critics panned it. Why? Because they had already typecast him in the role of the perpetual good guy. And let me tell you something. There's nothing good about Ali Fox. He's a sociopath. He's insane. He's crazy. He literally is consumed by this hatred to the point where it does and eventually kills him. And watching that movie, you're so weirded out by the fact that it's the same guy that played Han Solo. It's the same guy that played Indiana Jones, John Book, Richard Kimball, Tom O'Mara in the movie about what was that movie called? Oh, let me finish. That movie was actually called The Devil's Own with Brad Pitt, and it's really funny. I went and searched an article I had read years and years ago in Entertainment Weekly about how hard it was to make that movie, and very interesting. But it was a good movie, and again, it was a hit. And I hate to tell Brad, but we all went to see Harrison. Sorry, Brad. So, what is wrong with this picture? Well, it's Hollywood being political. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm downstairs right now. I'm going to go into the dining room because I can. It's Hollywood being political. It's them trying to kind of smooth things over for people who are disgruntled right now. I want to be perfectly blunt with you guys. This is like I said before, this is Kathleen Kennedy's parting prize as she leaves Lucasfilm. I guess my anger about this is when you have someone like Harrison Ford, who is, I think he's the biggest, if you adjust it for inflation, he's the biggest box office draw of all time. When you have him there, and instead of, honoring that, in some way, besides the American Film Institute Awards, the videos on here on YouTube. He got one of those. But to see someone like Kathleen Kennedy who's done nothing, really done nothing. She got her job at Lucasfilm basically because she was Title IX, which is bullshit. Hollywood had Sherry Lansing, but for some reason they forget. Seeing her get honored as she walks out after trashing Lucasfilm, ruining Star Wars, to me is revolting. But that's how Hollywood works. They can't just let her go. And this was Disney buying it for her. Now, I am going to say this. If Harry was ever offered a Lifetime Achievement Award, I don't know if he'd take it. It's bullshit. To me, it just doesn't seem him to, oh yeah, sure, I want that. No. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him in any way, shape, or form being part of that, because, and I'll tell you something else, I really don't think he cares. I think, considering that the Mosquito Coast, which they use as study guides now, they have study guides for it. People read it in college, I think. And it's such a, let me explain something about it. It's about a guy, and I've said this before in the other part of the video. It's about a guy who's a Harvard engineering school dropout, and he's brilliant. He lives in Massachusetts. He has 4 kids and a wife, and he doesn't like the way the world is, doesn't like the way the consumer society is pissed off about everything, and thinks that, well, America's going to go belly up. So what he does is he packs all of his kids and his wife. They take a boat to Honduras, and he's bought a town. And he basically ends up for a while being God on earth to the people there, to his family, and the kids rebel behind his back by going to church, by hanging out together, by doing what they want when he's not around, when he's not to police them. And like I said, he ends up being consumed by this, by trying to, there's a missionary that lives nearby, and he's consumed by his hatred of it to the point where it ends up killing him. And it's a fascinating character study, and that's what Mosquito Coast really is. River Phoenix plays the oldest son that sort of tells a story. And it's a great movie. It really, really is a good movie. And the fact that Harrison Ford did not get honored with an Oscar nomination, to me, is tragic. But again, the critics didn't see the actor. They saw Han Solo, they saw Indiana Jones, they saw John Book, all these characters, these heroic characters that he's played. And, Harry is so much more than that. He really is a tremendous talent. And to see that being ignored, is a crime. I think that's the thing that makes me angry. As far as Kathy Kennedy getting an Oscar for, basically a participation trophy is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. The Oscars have ceased to mean anything for a long, 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 long time. And, it just says something about the way it is now that, that's what's going to come to. She's a woman who failed. She's a woman who got fired. She's a woman who, didn't get the job done. And, and that's it. That is it. That is who she is. That is what she is. And there you go. So for you guys, Jeff at World Class Bullshitters, and everybody else, don't sweat the small stuff. This means nothing. All right, she's gone. She's a failure. They're giving this to her so she feels good about herself. Disney went and bought it for her, probably as a part of their deal or some shit. So there you go. So take it as it is, and just remember, there are a lot more. There were other people out there that deserved Oscars. way more than she did. So this is Steph. Signing out. See you around the galaxy.